You don't need more motivation. You need to stop negotiating with weakness. Sounds harsh? Good, because the truth usually is. Most people believe their problem is laziness. They think they need another podcast, another book, another video to get going. They say things like, I just need to get motivated. Or, I'll start when I feel ready. But let me break it to you. Motivation is a fleeting guest. Standards are permanent residents. You're not lazy, you've just been conditioned to believe that softness is normal. That doing what's comfortable is self-care. But it's not. It's a slow decay. And by the time you realize what you've lost, time, discipline, strength, it's already buried in years of compromise. In this video, I'm going to give you something different. Not hype, not hustle, but a philosophy, a shift in the way you view your life, your habits, your identity. By the end of this, you'll walk away with a clear framework for building strength where you used to make excuses. And more importantly, you'll remember who you were before you started living soft. The core problem and personal anecdote. The greatest lie is this: if it's hard, it must not be for you. It's everywhere, hidden in self-help culture, whispered by comfort-seeking friends, pushed in your feed every day. They tell you don't force it. They say you shouldn't have to struggle. But let me tell you something real. Everything worth becoming will require discomfort. I learned this the hard way. At 27, I had checked the boxes. Job? Yes. Bills paid? Yes. But inside, I was hollow. I was surviving routines I didn't respect, surrounded by people I didn't admire, becoming a version of myself I didn't even like. I used to wake up and immediately reach for my phone. Not because I wanted to see the world, but because I wanted to escape the feeling that I wasn't enough. Every plan I made died in the hands of excuses. I'm tired. I've got too much going on. I'll do it tomorrow. But here's the truth I couldn't outrun. There is no tomorrow. There's just today over and over until it runs out. And one morning, I looked in the mirror and I didn't like what I saw. Not physically, but energetically. I saw someone reacting to life, not commanding it. That was the moment I snapped. Not in anger, but in clarity. I realized I was living soft, and softness was costing me everything. Introducing the new philosophy, the standard over emotion. What changed me wasn't a motivational speaker. It wasn't a miracle morning routine. It wasn't some viral quote or a perfectly edited video telling me to grind harder. No, it was something quieter, something deeper. A shift I made in silence, when no one was watching, when no one was clapping, when no one cared. It was a decision, a mindset, a personal contract I signed with myself. Call it the standard over emotion. Let me explain this, because if you grasp this, you'll never see your excuses the same way again. See, most people live like thermometers, completely reactive. If their day is smooth, they perform. If it's stressful, they disappear. If they're excited, they work hard. If they're tired, they vanish. They wait for the world to be perfect before they show up fully. And that's exactly why they keep falling short. They're prisoners to their mood, slaves to the storm of their own mind. But successful people, disciplined people, people who actually build something in this life, they live like thermostats. They don't react to the room. They set the tone. They control the temperature. Their actions are not dictated by how they feel. They're dictated by who they've decided to become. That's what I mean by standard over emotion. Emotion is inconsistent. Standard is unshakable. Emotion is fragile. Standard is forged. Emotion is the weather. Standard is the climate. When you live by feeling, you constantly negotiate with yourself. I'm too tired. I'll do it later. Just one day off. But when you live by standard, there's no conversation. There's no internal debate. There's just execution. Because now you're not asking, do I feel like it? You're declaring, this is who I am. Let's bring it to life with some real-world examples. A soldier doesn't lace up his boots in the morning because he's feeling hyped. He does it because there's a mission, there's a vow, there's a code. He's not led by mood. He's led by duty. A professional athlete doesn't hit the gym 6 days a week because they're inspired every morning. They show up because that's the identity they've committed to. Even on days when the body aches, even on days when the mind wants to drift, they show up. Because when you live by standard, you show up regardless of the season. And let's make it even more personal. A father doesn't love his children more on high-energy days. He shows up when he's tired. He shows up when he's stressed. He shows up when he's unsure. Why? Because his love is a standard, not a feeling. He made a decision, and the decision holds. So here's the hard truth. Discipline isn't what's hard. Living without it is. See, living by emotion might feel good in the moment, but it has a cost. A silent, compounding cost that drains your time, your confidence, your power. Softness feels like relief today, but slowly becomes regret tomorrow. It gives you the illusion of safety, but in reality, it starves your potential. Meanwhile, discipline feels uncomfortable today, yes, but it builds something. It sharpens your mind. It fortifies your soul. It gives you strength that no one can take from you. Because here's the paradox. The more you live by feeling, the weaker you become. But the more you live by standard, the freer you become. It's freedom, not restriction. Think about that. When your life is ruled by emotion, you are constantly in chains. Tired? You quit. Doubtful? You stall. Triggered? You explode. But when your actions are ruled by identity, by principle, by a set standard, you become unshakable. You wake up and you move not because it's easy, but because it's required. Not because it's comfortable, but because it's aligned. You begin to understand that self-respect isn't built by how often you win. It's built by how often you do what you said you would do. That's what this is about. This isn't motivational hype. It's identity-level transformation. It's not about grinding harder. It's about becoming someone who no longer needs to be reminded of what matters. Because once the standard is set, you move different. You walk into rooms with clarity. You handle pressure with presence. You wake up with direction. Not because life is easier, but because you've become stronger. And strength, true inner strength, is born the moment you stop asking for life to accommodate you, and start demanding that you rise to meet it. That's the philosophy. The standard over emotion. Set the standard. Live from it. And never again allow your feelings to decide the future you're building. Practical application and self-reflection. Let's get practical. This isn't just about mindset. It's about how you show up every single day. Here are 5 soul-searching questions to reflect on. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much of your life is driven by standards? And how much by emotions? What's one area where you've been negotiating with weakness? What promise to yourself have you broken the most? And why? If someone followed you with a camera for 30 days, would they respect the way you live? What are you delaying today that your future self will pay for tomorrow? Now ask yourself, what do I actually control today? You don't control the world. You don't control what people think. But you control your response, your habits, your standard. Let me give you a starting point, simple but powerful. The non-negotiable rule. Choose one discipline, something small but consistent, and do it every day for the next 30 days. Wake up at 6 a.m., even on weekends. No phone for the first hour of your day. Read 10 pages every day. Go on a 30-minute walk, no matter the weather. Write your goals down daily. It doesn't matter what it is, what matters is this. You stop treating discipline like a feeling and start treating it like an identity. You do it because it's who you are now, not who you're trying to be, who you already decided to become. The conclusion, legacy, and decision. Let's zoom out. This isn't just about habits. It's about how you'll be remembered. When people talk about you, your kids, your friends, your partner, what will they say? They had potential, or they had discipline. Your legacy is not built in big moments. It's built in quiet ones. When no one's watching, when it's hard, when you don't feel like it. That's when greatness is born. Not in motivation, but in the moments you wanted to quit and didn't. Life doesn't wait. It doesn't pause because you're overwhelmed. It doesn't delay because you're tired. It doesn't care if you're ready. And that's exactly why you can't afford to be soft. So here's the decision. Draw the line today, not tomorrow, not after this phase, not when it's easier. Right now, decide who you are. Set the standard. live from it. And if the voice in your head tries to pull you back into softness, you look it in the eye and say, that version of me is dead. I don't live soft anymore. The best version of you doesn't need to be found. It needs to be built. And it's built one unbreakable standard at a time. One day at a time. One decision at a time. So choose. Not what's easy, but what's necessary. Not what feels good, but what builds legacy. And never forget, the best is yet to come, if you decide it is.